Starting your live stream. Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry about that. Mother Nature called and she took my power out. But we are back. Not even God can stop us finding the truth. But it'd be great if you helped us out. There you go. Let's look at the CDC claim. Oh, we were looking at the CDC claim that the pregnant women. The CDC does not recommend pregnant women eat tuna at any time.
Alrighty. So yeah,
Never.
it was so the CDC, the claim is true. The CDC does not recommend that pregnant women consume any tuna, and they do recommend that they get flu vaccines. And if you get a multi-dose flu vaccine, it has the thimerosal which has ethyl mercury. However, if we continue to the next claim, we can expound upon that. The next claim is pregnant women are getting mercury-containing flu shot with a massive doses, which is false. If you can request a single dose vial. So the thimerosal is used only for a preservative, and so they only put it in like bigger vials that the doctor sticks a needle in and then takes some out and then puts it in your arm. But you can ask for single dose vials, which they won't have to poke multiple times, and so they don't need a preservative. So you can get it without the thimerosal, and if you're pregnant and you're concerned about mercury, that's what I would look for. Because you still have a risk of flu affecting your baby, or in the case with the previous claim, pertussis, or whooping cough is the layman term. But yeah, it's not necessary because you can get it, and you don't have to have it for single dose vials. And almost all childhood vaccines do not contain thimerosal. The schedule. At least, I think verifiably through this in Australia, and then I think I saw it somewhere that said the U.S. as well, but it's completely avoidable if that's important to you. Which, I mean, why have it? There's really no reason to.
Yeah, just get it without the thimerosal. But yeah, I mean, if you don't ask for it, and like, let's be honest, like the healthcare system's not really great at people, uneducated people aren't asking for things. They're going to give them like the cheaper stuff or whatever can make them the most money. Right? If a doctor prescribed 2 medications, right? Let's just be honest. There are some sleazebag doctors out there. That's how we got to the opioid crisis, right? I'm just calling a spade, right? So if they're going to give you, they can prescribe 2 drugs. One drug they get a better kickback on. They're going to prescribe that drug. Right. Maybe it's got mercury in it, and you don't know.
I mean, it's just because it's cheaper. Because you can have a dose vial.
Yep.
And so that's the only reason they use it. But the reason that makes this false is because the small amount of thimerosal used to preserve vaccines is not more than 25 micrograms.
Not these massive doses.
And is about the same amount as in a 6-ounce can of tuna.
Canadian Albuquerque tuna. I don't know if I trust that.
It's better.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that wildfire? Can't even imagine what that's gonna put in the water when this is all done.
But 6 ounces of tuna, not that bad. And certainly, I wouldn't call that a dose.
So, false. All right. Let's just recap here. Claim 11. RFK's godmother found the Special Olympics in 1969. Before that was called Camp Shriver. That was true. Claim. All goldfish were dying in Wall Creek, sewer plant discharging chlorine. And are there goldfish in the Hudson? We found it to be plausible to false. We'd love for someone to come show us all the dead goldfish. We couldn't find anything about that. Next claim. Sarah Bridges, a psychologist from Minnesota, her son Porter Bridges was perfectly healthy, then took the vaccines at 2 and developed autistic symptoms and received a $20 million court settlement. We couldn't find the dollar amount, but it was alluded to that it was multiple millions of dollars, and that she was that happened in court. So that claim was true. Next claim, the CDC does not recommend pregnant women consume any tuna, but does recommend vaccines with mercury in them. That is true with the caveat as we previously mentioned. And then the last claim, pregnant women are getting mercury-containing flu shots with massive doses. That is false. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys listening. Tune in next time for claims. What are we on now? 16 through 20. All right.
Yeah,
Check us out.
16 through 20 up next.
All right.
Have a good
guys.
one, everyone.
And if you're live, don't go anywhere because we aren't either. I do want to point out, I can see where some layman confusion can come from because this is saying you can take, like, this is saying it's safe to consume thimerosal as a preservative in vaccines. It's equivalent. It's equivalent to a six. Yeah, I'm just talking to you guys. It's equivalent to a 6-ounce can of Albuquerque tuna, right? However, the CDC doesn't recommend eating any tuna. So I can see where he's coming from, right? That's like being like, oh, you can have a little bit of Coke, but actually you can't have any Coke.
And also, methyl mercury is different from ethyl mercury.
I mean, not to steal. Yes, please do, because I got a degree in math, not chemistry. All I know is Breaking Bad periodic table.
Later claims when we go over a study with infant monkeys.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I've found in some of these, and I mean, we're pretty fresh off. There's a lot more claims to go over. Is that these are kind of true with some caveats. Like I think saying massive doses, yes, you shouldn't be taking mercury or limiting it as much as possible when you're pregnant, but saying that it's a massive dose is...
I think he's used like snowball, right? Like, yeah, he used
he's
colorful wording. Yeah.
Bigger than it is.
Well, I don't know. What's a safe level of mercury? Maybe it is bigger than it is.
They have, I mean,
but are you going to fault a man for going on a podcast and using hyperbole? I mean, we will. Steve, let's do it. Claim 16.
What we're doing.
Claim 16 through 20 /21. Let's get into it, guys. Hey, welcome back. I'm just gonna go ahead. Let's record a little intro for the video.
Okay, guys, but where's 16 through 21?
Oh, it's at the top.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
I don't know why you did that.
Oh.
Did you do that? Did I do that? I don't think I did that.
I didn't do that. Someone got rid of the word claim in there.
I added the word claims afterwards. All right, guys.
All right.
These are going to be some good ones, so let's go ahead and break this down. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Fact React. I am here today with Tom and Patrick and claims 16 through 20 and 21. Checking out what RFK said on JRE. So let's just go ahead and break it down. Claim 16. I'm going to go ahead and insert the clip here. There are two kinds of mercury, the good and the bad. Guys, this is the big one we've been talking about.
Well, we combined two claims in this one.
Okay. And the claim there's no such thing as good mercury.
17,
Yes.
There is no such thing as good mercury. There's good mercury and bad mercury. Kind of contradicting statements, but
one is kind of better, I guess.
Yeah,
sort
there
of.
are.
We metabolize it faster.
True. Now, I wouldn't really say that there is any such thing as good. So I would say the first one is false, I guess.
Why would you say that? Because what is good and bad?
There is no.
I wouldn't
say the second one is then true, is because there is no such thing as good mercury.
Okay, I see. You're trying to logic this. You're trying to logic this out. Yeah, I'm gonna stop you there because I think we need to use this as two claims because these were two separate sentences, right? In the first claim, there are two kinds of mercury, good and bad mercury. In that, he's specifically talking in context with this guy at the CDC when they're talking about methyl and ethyl, right? Or
ethyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is that sitcom from the 50s? Methyl and ethyl and lead poisoning.
Yeah.
So like the methyl is the stuff in fish, and the ethyl, and the other, and the ethyl mercury that's the bad one.
One's worse. Ethyl is better than methyl. Ethyl doesn't accumulate as much, and it leaves the body quicker.
Mm.
And we'll get into that. Is it on these slides? Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. In the body, thimerosal is broken down into ethylmercury and thiosilate. Ethylmercury is different from methylmercury, the type of mercury found in the environment that causes mercury poisoning.
I see. Interesting. But basically what you want to know is ethyl mercury is one that will leave your body faster through natural means
I don't think it's
and has a shorter half-life of about 7 to 10 days versus 50 days.
right.
So the methyl mercury, the bad one, takes about 5 times as long.
Mm-hmm.
5
So
to
if
7
you-
times as
If
long.
you eat like a bunch of tuna day after day, it will build up.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you eat 50 days of tuna, it'll have compounding effects.
Yeah.
So what
But
if you
if
get
you eat-
a shot? What if you get a flu shot in your arm every
on the
trimester?
same, when you're
Every
also
trimester.
eating a bunch of tuna,
Don't eat tuna.
yeah, I mean, it's not as good.
Tuna is delicious, though. Let's be real.
Yeah, there's a study later that he quotes and we go into, and I don't think it's in these slides, but yeah, there's basically there are two types of mercury, so I guess you could say that's true. Good and bad is then relative.
Yeah, it's just so subjective.
Yeah.
Methyl mercury is more potent than ethyl mercury. The threshold for neurological
Yeah.
effects range in methyl mercury. I mean, there is like what he's saying is true. Like there is like a good one and a bad one. Like there is like a bad one and a worse one, right? There is like
Yeah.
if good and
There-
bad or like like on a rating scale, the one's higher than the other.
It's like cancer's bad, but there's cancers that are a lot more.
They're a lot
curable,
worse.
Yeah.
Let me
yeah,
ask you this: if you had to get one injected in you, which one would it be? And I think that's
Exactly.
that's the good one.
Yeah. And so, for instance, in Australia, actually, all childhood vaccines contain 0 thimerosal.
Australia,
Which
baby.
is the ethyl mercury, which has 7 to 10 days. It's not as bad, but if you're getting, 10, 20 shots in a shorter period of time,
Mm-hmm.
it can add up,
Yeah.
and you're more sensitive to it as a child.
Yes.
But in Australia,
Because yours is smaller. Like the percentage hits you harder.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not important if you're a healthy adult. It's similar to eating like a can of tuna. So
Yes. Yeah. Which. I
Right.
don't know.
And it's all about how your body reacts. Like that's why you
Yeah.
don't drink when you're 12 and you drink when you're 22.
right.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, even though your brain doesn't stop developing till you're 25. So different podcast.
Okay.
That'd be fun to get into the laws behind that. Anyway, those are some crazy bills. Let's move on to the next claim here. I'll insert it now. Thimerosal introduced in 1932. That's a mercury in vaccine. Eli Lilly. Also another claim, mercury used as preservatives in vaccines. I want to real fast go back. Actually, the claim there's no such thing as good mercury. Freddie Mercury was a great mercury. I don't know if that disproves it, but okay. All right. Back to the claim. Thank you.
Nice one.
All right. So
Yeah,
thimerosal introduced.
1932. Yeah, they did introduce
Yeah, such a.
thimerosal in the 30s, and it's for preservative. I don't know if we're coming up with this later. I just remembered that he said that they claim it's preservative, but it's actually used as, I think the word was an aggravant or an adjutant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not
It's
necessary
meant
to
to
be vaccine. So I don't
invoke
think
more
that's
of an immune response because it's
Yeah.
a lot worse.
They do use aluminum sulfate, I think it was, as an adjutant or aggravant or whatever.
Now, yeah.
My arch
Mercury-
nemesis, aluminum. Ironically.
Yeah, the thimerosal is not necessary. It's only in multi-dose shots, and it can't be removed completely. So, I think it really is just a preservative. So if we come up on that claim later, I don't think we've done it. So it's not even in like the next 10 or so claims. But just something to think.
Was this thimerosal made in 1932?
Yep.
Okay, I just haven't been able to find that. I didn't see
Did I
it.
not
You
Oh,
can
I
put a
don't
link.
have a
You can put a link on it.
link. Okay.
Mercury
Yeah,
1,000
I
times
found
more
it.
toxic, more neurotoxic than lead is what we're
Um,
coming up on. So that's gonna be
yeah, that
interesting.
one's good. I remember that one. So it is more toxic, but it's only like 10 times more toxic.
Uh,
Yeah, let's see. I did some maths in here. Blood mercury levels above 100. This is
See, Eli Lilly.
G. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
This says thimerosal is an organic. Let me zoom in here. Thimerosal is an organic compound that is 49.6% ethyl mercury. Eli Lilly and Company, Indianapolis-based drug giant, developed and registered thimerosal under its trade name Maritholate in 1929 and began marketing it as an antibacterial, antifungal product. Only research looked into the safety of thimerosal was done in 1930. Who injected into
wow.
22 patients with meningitis. The human experiments failed to prove that thimerosal was non-toxic.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, it is
Interesting.
mercury. So
That's what we're trying to figure out here. Oh,
I mean,
it's toxic, right? Yeah, that's a good point. Like, is this like your ex-boyfriend toxic? Like he's not good for you, or is he
yeah.
like a serial killer toxic? Like you,
You know, that reminds me. That's a good song, "Toxic" by Britney Spears.
Hmm.
We
because you
should make
know
that
what
our
you do.
intro.
Yeah.
Toxic.
Maybe I'm toxic. Do you know? No, you don't. I'm a
Yeah, so I
okay.
got these things in this one for the lead versus mercury exposure from the New York Health Government website. Blood
Hmm.
mercury levels of 100 nanograms per milliliter have been associated with clear signs of mercury poisoning in some individuals. Between 25 and 40 micrograms per deciliter, which, if you factor out, is 250 and 400 nanograms per milliliter, to use the same.
Measurement.
Regular
Yeah.
exposure is occurring. There's evidence of potential physiological problems.
Interesting.
At levels above 80 micrograms or per deciliter or 800 nanograms per milliliter, serious permanent health damage may occur, extremely dangerous. Okay, I think I did not put which ones are lead and which ones
Ah.
mercury, but one of these is lead and one of these is mercury. So let's find out. I got this right here. Here we go. This is lead. Yeah, 80 micrograms per deciliter is extremely dangerous.
I see.
So yeah, 80 micrograms
It's about,
per deciliter is lead, and that's 800 nanograms.
I'd say about 5, or about twice as serious.
Oh, you mean like nanogram to milliliter
Yeah.
ratio? Definitely
Yeah.
not 1,000 times though.
No.
Yeah, it's like, so that's like the highest level of lead poisoning.
Hmm. Wow.
And
Okay.
there's like 250, so even at like the lowest level of mercury poisoning to the highest level, the ratio is only 1 to 8, but nowhere near 1,000. So
Yeah.
false.
Interesting.
Not
Yeah.
1,000 times more toxic than lead, but is very toxic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving on to probably one of my favorite claims. Actually, I liked this one a lot because it was fun finding out about the polio vaccine. 70% of polio today is vaccine polio. Okay, this is actually plausible, yet it's kind of misleading. So there's a couple things that happened with this, which is before the polio vaccine was developed, right? So in like pre-1950s, there were like 13,000 to 20,000 paralytic cases reported each year. I don't know if that's maybe only the U.S. or worldwide. After 95, 7 oral vaccine dropped dramatically. Only 2,000 in 1960, and then
1965 it fell to 61, and then by
Yeah.
79 there was no cases.
No cases. Yeah, so 0 cases, and
We cured
I think-
polio.
yeah, in the developed worlds like Europe and the U.S., there hasn't been any cases since like 1979. Just 0 across the board. However, there's a couple places like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and some African countries who have these outbreaks of vaccine polio, and now this is only because they use oral polio vaccine, and that's only because it's cheaper. If you take the
Interesting.
shot,
Always.
it's not the live virus. The oral vaccine is a live virus, so they just infect you with like a weakened virus.
Right.
So then
Interesting.
you can, if it doesn't go well, you shed and someone else gets it because you took the vaccine. Then you can have an outbreak in these places where people were already not really vaccinated anyway. But even with that, there's only 33 cases of wild type polio vaccination in 2 countries, and just 483 reported cases total of vaccination in 2001.
Interesting.
I found the case.
So-
I found the
Big drop. So maybe
Big drop.
it is plausible that 70% of polio is vaccine polio. However, that's only because we've used the vaccine so well that almost nobody gets it. And only people who are getting vaccine polio or poor third world countries, because the oral polio vaccine that they get is a live virus basically, and it's really cheap, and that's why they get it.
Yeah.
So I would say this is disturbing because it's plausible yet very misleading to say that.
I found this here from this is the cdc.gov, so this might be a little bit more. Oh wait, no, this is approximately 70% of all polio infections in children are asymptomatic.
I have
Not the same 70%.
Yeah. There's also some cdc.gov here. Forget what this is about. Oh yeah, vaccine-derived poliovirus, and it's because of OPV, which is oral polio vaccine, is what that says on the cdc.gov. Yeah, no polio in the entire Western Hemisphere since 1991.
Oh, they did have a case in 2022 in Rockland County, New York.
Was that because people weren't taking vaccination?
An unvaccinated man was paralyzed as a result of a polio infection.
Wow.
So you see how these claims have effects?
I mean, I've seen Veep, the last season of Veep, when Ryan, he's like the anti-vaxxer guy. He goes on a huge campaign, and everywhere he goes, he just gets everyone super sick. Right? No one's saying like, there are people. I'm not saying, and from what RFK said in front of Congress, he's not saying don't take vaccines, right? He's just trying to figure out how safe these are, and he's just asking for more safety tests.
I think the claim that 70% of polio today is vaccine polio, without expanding upon that any further, is alarmist.
Yeah, you're trying to draw a grandiose conclusion. You're speaking in a very pointed way, similar to, I don't know, your CNNs, your Fox Newses.
Right.
They really like.
So what should he have said? Like, we did a great job killing polio, but 70% of the polio caused today is from the medicine? Because I mean that's what he said.
Well, you should. I think an important distinction is that it's oral
Polio,
vaccine.
Oh,
because that's what's
It's a
being
different
distributed there.
vaccine than
look,
That's
what
yeah.
I'll tell you right
clearly-
now, that distinction did not matter for Bill Clinton, and it will not matter for majority of Americans.
I mean, it should matter.
I
because
did not have sexual relations with that
Well, you
woman.
don't have to explain the joke. That's what makes it so
No,
good. Is we just leave it up there. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's recap this real fast. Some wild fact checking going on here. Claims. There are two kinds of mercury, good and bad. True in context, but logically, I mean, that's subjective. There's what is good, what is bad, right? If you're looking for mercury to kill people, they both might be very good. But it's all in context. Claim number 2, there is no such thing as a good mercury. That is true. Thimerosal. Next claim, thimerosal was introduced in 1932. That is true. Mercury is used as a preservative in vaccines. We found that to be false. It's more of an aggravant, and we'll get more into that in a future claim with dead body viruses. The next claim, mercury is 1,000 times more neurotoxic than lead, is a flat out false statement. And then last but not least, for this round at least, 70% of the polio today is vaccine polio. That is true. But Patrick's going to tell you about the nuances real fast.
Yeah, it's oral polio vaccine, and it's only in poor countries because they use cheap vaccines.
All right, guys, that's it. Don't get it twisted. Keep following along for more fact checking. We'll check out what he has to say next time on Fact React. Well, I don't know what to do here. Bye, guys.
So yeah.
I wish we could edit that out. I'm kidding. I'm so happy for you guys. We didn't go anywhere. Guys,
Still alive?
Live.
we're still live. How you guys doing?
Oh yeah.
Is
Great.
anyone watching this on live?
We got a couple.
We have a couple people watching this. Oh, that's fun. How you guys
I'm
doing?
watching it.
Woo.
Yeah.
Got one like and a couple comments. They've been throwing in some emojis and stuff to
Oh,
them.
wait a second. I got an air horn. You guys can't hear it, but they can. Probably blew out someone's headphones. I'm just gonna have a little sip of this water here.
Yeah. Well, is that it for tonight?
I don't know. It's 7-Eleven. You guys want to knock out one more?
We have what?
We got a half-hour stream plus an 8-minute one earlier.
Well, are we meeting up tomorrow?
Yeah.
We are. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we can save 21 through 32 for tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah,
that sounds
of course.
good. I was going to knock out some, but we will do that. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
I mean, keep it even.
This, I mean, when we're sticking 2 claims
that
or
thumb
3
up.
claims in a slide, who knows what's even or odd anymore?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's odd, the lack of safety checks going on with all these damn vaccines. That's all we're saying. We're fact checking it. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. We will be here tomorrow. Same time, same great place. That's right, your lap on the internet.